Micah Parsons' contract situation is quickly turning into one of the messiest and most frustrating stories in the NFL right now. What started as a promising relationship between a rising star pass rusher and the Dallas Cowboys has steadily deteriorated into a tense standoff, where progress seems almost impossible and the possibility of drastic moves, like a trade request, hangs heavily over everyone involved. Parsons, who emerged as one of the most dominant defensive players in the league, is now reportedly weighing his options and considering whether continuing with the Cowboys is even viable. That's not the position any team wants their franchise player to be in, especially not one with as much potential and impact as Parsons. At the heart of this drama lies a glaring failure in communication and negotiation. Back in the spring, Parsons negotiated directly with Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, over multiple days. From the outside looking in, it seemed as though the two sides had reached a solid deal, one that would keep Parsons in Dallas for years to come. However, once Parsons' agent tried to push for more favorable terms and entered the negotiation scene, the Cowboys flatly refused to engage. Instead, the team insisted Parsons honor the agreement he had made with Jones, essentially shutting out his representative from the conversation. This decision to sideline the agent, who is legally and practically the player's advocate in all negotiations, led to a breakdown in talks and a standoff that nobody anticipated. Ignoring the role of the agent in a negotiation of this magnitude was always a mistake. The NFL's collective bargaining framework clearly defines that agents are the exclusive representatives of players when it comes to contract discussions. Teams are not only expected but required to negotiate through this agents. The Cowboys' approach to bypass the agent and deal directly with Parsons was not just unconventional, it was unrealistic and ultimately counterproductive. It created an atmosphere of mistrust and frustration on all sides. Parsons feels betrayed and disrespected because his agent's efforts to advocate for him were dismissed outright. And the Cowboys, for their part, seem equally frustrated that their direct dealings didn't pan out the way they expected. This impasse has made what should be a straightforward contract extension feel like an insurmountable hurdle. With the second week of training camp underway, there has been no real progress. The Cowboys and Parsons remain far apart on terms, and there are no active negotiations happening right now. This silence speaks volumes. It tells us that the relationship between player and franchise has soured to a point where the usual channels of communication are either blocked or ineffective. Adding to the intrigue is the rumor that Parsons might formally request a trade. While such a move would be dramatic and unprecedented for a player of his caliber, the reality is that even if Parsons were to make this request public, the Cowboys are extremely unlikely to entertain it. They hold 2 more years of team control over him, which gives them a lot of leverage. Trading him now would not just weaken their defense considerably, but would also almost certainly fail to bring back assets equal to his value. At this stage of the season, teams have already allocated their salary cap space and are hesitant to give up premium draft picks for a player they would only get for a few years. The Cowboys know this and will most likely hold firm. But the broader issue isn't just about who wins or loses this negotiation battle. It's about the damage done to the reputation of the franchise and the erosion of trust between the player and the team. When one of your top stars publicly contemplates such drastic measures, it signals a major failure behind the scenes. It shows that the team's front office has lost control of the narrative and the relationship, and the player feels undervalued or unheard. The irony is that the Cowboys have a history of botched contract talks with their best players. This isn't a new phenomenon for Dallas. Just last year, a similar situation unfolded with CeeDee Lamb, who was also reported to be considering a trade request amid stalled negotiations. The repeated pattern suggests a systemic issue with how this franchise handles contract discussions, particularly with key talent. Rather than being proactive and respectful, the team often drags negotiations out, creating drama where none should exist. It is bewildering to watch such a talented player and a storied franchise get tangled in what should be a simple business matter. Micah Parsons is unquestionably a cornerstone of this defense. He is the player who gives the Cowboys their edge rush presence and makes their pass rush dangerous. Without him, the defensive unit suddenly looks far less intimidating. The supporting cast, while promising in some areas, cannot replace the game-changing impact Parsons brings week in and week out. Trading him away would leave a massive hole that no rookie or one-year free agent signing could realistically fill. Yet despite all of this, the Cowboys front office continues to play a game that borders on self-sabotage. Rather than picking up the phone, calling the agent, and hashing out an agreement that respects Parsons' value and potential, they have chosen a stubborn and short-sighted approach that risks alienating their star player. It feels like a lesson in how not to run contract negotiations. Some might argue that the Cowboys are just holding firm to avoid overpaying. There's a fine line between being shrewd and being reckless, and it seems like Dallas has crossed that line into recklessness. The longer this drags on, the more the situation spirals out of control, and the less likely it becomes that Parsons will feel loyal or motivated to stay long-term. When a player starts thinking about cutting ties, it is a sign that the damage may already be irreversible. On the flip side, from Parsons' perspective, this isn't just about money. It's about respect and clarity. He's shown patience by negotiating directly with Jones, by giving the team a chance to get things done. But at some point, patience runs out. Feeling ignored, disrespected, and betrayed is a heavy burden, especially for a young player at the top of his game. He is now forced to weigh whether staying with the Cowboys is worth the continued headache or if demanding a trade or separation is the only way to protect his career and legacy. There's also a fascinating dynamic at play with the agent, David Mulugheta, who has been sidelined in the negotiation process. His involvement is crucial because agents understand the market and know exactly what their clients deserve. Any attempt to exclude him from negotiations was doomed from the start. Mulugheta has a proven track record of securing top deals for his clients, and the Cowboys ignoring him is a glaring misstep that has only prolonged the uncertainty. Even as the saga unfolds, it's clear that no party is coming out unscathed. The Cowboys risk alienating one of the brightest young stars in the league, potentially setting themselves up for years of regret. Parsons risks his reputation as a team player, though many fans and insiders recognize the frustration he must feel. The whole situation has the air of a preventable mess, one that could have been avoided with straightforward communication and good faith from the very beginning. Looking at the broader NFL landscape, this story is a reminder of how delicate player-team relationships can be. The balance of power is always shifting, and teams that fail to value their stars properly can quickly find themselves on the losing end. For a franchise like Dallas, with its rich history and high expectations, mishandling a player of Parsons' caliber is especially damaging. The clock is ticking, and the next moves will determine if this saga ends with a resolution or becomes another chapter in a long line of contract disputes. Despite all the tension, one thing is certain: Micah Parsons is a player the Cowboys desperately want to keep. Owner Jerry Jones and his front office have publicly expressed their desire to pay him and keep him in Dallas. Yet the reality of the negotiation suggests otherwise. Words alone are not enough to repair a relationship that has clearly frayed. The team must back up their statements with concrete action, engaging with Parsons' agent, finding common ground on a deal, and restoring trust. If they fail to do so, the Cowboys could find themselves in a familiar spot, scrambling to manage a fractured locker room, facing fan frustration, and dealing with the fallout of losing a foundational player without proper compensation. This is a scenario nobody wants, but it is becoming increasingly likely if the current trajectory continues. The entire situation also highlights a broader criticism of how some NFL teams handle contract talks. The tendency to drag negotiations to the brink, use franchise tags as leverage, and stall indefinitely only breeds resentment and instability. Players today are more empowered than ever, and teams that don't recognize that risk being left behind. The Cowboys, for all their success on the field, have shown a repeated inability to adapt to this reality, and the Parsons saga is a glaring example. As training camp presses on, eyes will remain fixed on Dallas. Will they pick up the phone and make a real effort to get this done? Or will this story drag on, hurting everyone involved? For Micah Parsons, his patience is wearing thin. For the Cowboys, the clock is ticking and the stakes couldn't be higher. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers have begun to swirl around the NFL landscape as news surfaces that Baker Mayfield, the charismatic and often controversial quarterback, might be making a move to the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, a franchise steeped in history and known for its star power, have reportedly expressed interest in adding Mayfield to their roster. This potential acquisition is already causing a stir among fans and analysts alike, given Mayfield's roller coaster career and the Cowboys' ongoing search for a reliable signal caller. While nothing has been officially confirmed, insiders suggest that talks between Mayfield's camp and Dallas executives have taken place behind closed doors, fueling speculation about what this could mean for the team's future. The buzz around the NFL rumor mill is intensifying as Mayfield's name keeps popping up alongside the Cowboys, indicating that a deal might be closer than initially thought. Fans are buzzing with excitement and curiosity, wondering if this pairing could ignite a new era for Dallas or if it's simply another speculative headline designed to shake up the offseason. The prospect of Mayfield stepping onto the field at AT&T Stadium, donning the iconic star on his helmet, is a tantalizing thought for many, especially considering his high-octane style and outspoken personality, which could bring a fresh dynamic to the Cowboys' locker room. The implications of Baker Mayfield joining the Dallas Cowboys stretch far beyond just a New Jersey number. They hint at a potential seismic shift in the team's offensive strategy and leadership approach. The Cowboys, who have been searching for consistency at quarterback in recent years, could view Mayfield as the spark they desperately need to elevate their game to the next level. Although Mayfield's tenure in the league has been marked by moments of brilliance as well as controversy, his ability to energize a team and connect with fans cannot be overlooked. Sources close to the situation hint that Dallas might be banking on Mayfield's tenacity and experience to not only lead their offense, but also to instill a renewed sense of confidence and swagger. The Cowboys front office appears intrigued by Mayfield's willingness to take risks and his proven track record in high-pressure situations, which could align well with the team's aggressive style. Yet, skeptics caution that Mayfield's inconsistence and occasional locker room turbulence might pose risks for the Cowboys, creating a divide between optimism and apprehension among the fan base and pundits alike. This looming decision has generated a frenzy of debate, social media chatter, and countless what-if scenarios that keep the rumor alive and the speculation rampant. Adding Baker Mayfield to the Dallas Cowboys roster could have significant ripple effects on the team's existing quarterback dynamics and overall roster construction. The Cowboys currently have a mix of young talent and seasoned veterans vying for the starting quarterback position, and Mayfield's arrival might upset the delicate balance. Rumors suggest that if Mayfield signs, it could signal a shift away from the team's previous quarterback plans, potentially relegating other contenders to backup roles or prompting trades. This potential shakeup raises questions about the future of those currently in the quarterback pipeline and whether the Cowboys are ready to invest fully in Mayfield's capabilities despite his uneven career trajectory. Moreover, the presence of Mayfield could influence the team's offensive play calling, as coaches might adjust schemes to suit his strengths and preferences, potentially reshaping the Cowboys' identity on offense. Fans and analysts are already debating how Mayfield's arm strength, mobility, and competitive fire would mesh with the Cowboys' talented receiving core and offensive line. As the rumor mill spins faster, insiders suggest the Cowboys' front office is weighing the pros and cons carefully, knowing that any decision involving Mayfield carries substantial risk and reward. The intrigue surrounding this potential signing continues to grow, keeping the Cowboys at the center of NFL offseason chatter. The Dallas Cowboys' possible acquisition of Baker Mayfield is not just a football story. It is quickly becoming a cultural phenomenon, stirring emotions and expectations far beyond the gridiron. Mayfield's personality, bold, outspoken, and sometimes polarizing, fits a mold that has historically thrived in the Cowboys' spotlight. The team's fan base, one of the most passionate and scrutinizing in sports, is divided in opinion, with some embracing the potential energy Mayfield could inject, while others question whether his temperament aligns with the organization's vision. Social media platforms are buzzing with debates about Mayfield's leadership qualities, his ability to handle the pressure cooker environment in Dallas, and whether his arrival could herald a new era of excitement and success. The Cowboys, known for their media attention and celebrity allure, might see Mayfield as a way to reignite national interest and rekindle the swagger that has sometimes felt elusive in recent years. Meanwhile, sports commentators are speculating on how this signing could influence the team's marketing, merchandise sales, and overall brand appeal. The rumor of Mayfield joining Dallas is thus shaping up as a narrative that transcends football, weaving together elements of sports, entertainment, and culture, and keeping fans riveted on every update that emerges from the Cowboys headquarters. The offseason progresses, the rumor of Baker Mayfield heading to the Dallas Cowboys gains momentum, setting the stage for what could be one of the most intriguing quarterback moves in recent memory, while no official announcement has been made. Insiders report that negotiations are ongoing and that both sides see potential benefits in a partnership. For Mayfield, joining a storied franchise like the Cowboys could represent an opportunity for redemption and a chance to solidify his legacy in the NFL. For Dallas, signing Mayfield might be a bold gamble intended to jumpstart the team's playoff aspirations and satisfy a demanding fan base hungry for success. This unfolding saga has captivated the NFL community, prompting endless analysis about how Mayfield's style will fit alongside Dallas's existing personnel, coaching philosophy, and competitive ambitions. As training camps approach and roster, decisions loom. All eyes remain on the Cowboys as speculation intensifies and anticipation builds. Whether this rumor materializes into a concrete deal or remains just another chapter in the NFL offseason drama, one thing is certain: Baker Mayfield's potential arrival in Dallas is stirring up conversations and keeping football fans on edge, eagerly awaiting the next twist in this developing story. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. And always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.